Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining the webinar this afternoon. As the title of the webinar suggests, we're going to be looking this afternoon at GP2013 R2, at the new look of the product and key features that are in the product. I can see from the attendees that there's a number of people here today that are in the process of going to GP2013, and a couple of attendees of people that are on older versions of Dynamics. So the presentation that we'll go through goes from a general point of view on some of the topics that are new inside GP2013. I'll touch on some specifics and just show you some of the changes that are specific that might interest some sections of the audience here today. If I don't cover them in this session and you'd like them covered sort of going forward, or like me to sort of give you a call and go through specific areas of functionality in GP2013 that might relate specifically to you, please just let us know, and well, I'm sure we can arrange that. So, what's new in GP2013 R2? Let's first just rewind a little bit and look at how we've got to GP2013 R2. And I just wanted to mention that in GP2013, there's a new licensing model that's been introduced by Microsoft. So it's one of the changes, not so much of the product, but of the way that Microsoft are selling the product. Anybody that had Dynamics prior to 2014, sorry, prior to 2006, bought Dynamics on a modular-based license. This meant that you bought users and modules. So if you were using sales order processing and purchase order processing, you had to buy those separately as modules to be able to do that. Moving on past 2006, Microsoft brought out the Business Ready licensing, of which there were two strands, Business Essentials and Advanced Management. This is applied really to new customers who came on board after 2006, but there was a process whereby customers could transition from modular-based to Business Ready, but it wasn't something that a lot of customers did at all. The idea behind Business Essentials and Advanced Management was that you had a group of modules that you could buy as a group rather than individual modules. With 2013, all users have to move to a perpetual license, and that users have to transition from either modular-based or business-ready up to perpetual licensing for GP2013. There's three areas of the perpetual license. There's the starter pack, and the starter pack is quite extensive. It contains a lot of the modules in Dynamics that you need for running your business. The extended pack, it tends to be the larger modules that specific companies use, and then there's additional packs that you might want to add on to your system but are not core to business processes. I get asked, can I share with people what's in those packs? And like I said, it's quite an extensive list, but what I'll do is I'll just show you inside here, inside a Word document that I've prepared, and anybody that wants this, I can send it out. There's a starter pack, and you'll be able to see here the modules that are in it, modules that some of you might not have been able to use before, but are now included in that starter pack. So things like analytic accounting. I'll just go to the next page if I can. Field level security, areas like that you might not have been able to use in previous versions, but you're able to use now. Inventory control, bill of materials, landed cost, etc. In the extended pack, you'll see there's items in there related to available to promise, returns, project accounting. Those are the areas that live within the extended pack. And then at the bottom here, we've got the customization pack, which includes Integration Manager, eConnect Web Services, Visual Studio Dexterity, Smartness Builder pack, and an extended HR pack. So, like I said, I can send this out to anybody that needs. We'll have it on our website as well. But it gives you an idea of when you move to 2013, the modules that you have as standard as part of your license. Just talk again just briefly about the progression of GP 2013. The slide at the end of this presentation talks about the roadmap. So there's a little bit more detail in that about where we're going past 2013. But 2013 itself came out of the latter part of financial year 2012. And one of the main things in GP 2013 was that it provided a web client, but also had a number of enhancements to the functionality of the product. That web client drove a number of changes within the user interface of Dynamics GP. And what we're seeing now within Dynamics GP 2013 R2 is those user interface changes that were only available previously in the web client are now available on the desktop client. Went through 2 revisions, an SP1 revision, an SP2 revision, in which they added various bits of functionality into the product, but really the R2 version provides the difference in the user interface of it. As we go through the next 20 minutes or so, I'll be touching on areas. Some of the functionality was added in GP 2013, some of it was enhanced in SP2 and enhanced further in R2, so we'll be seeing those enhancements as they stand today in the product. Okay, so GP 2013 and specifically R2, they've made significant changes to the usability of Dynamics GP. Like I said before, there's a new user interface. From my point of view, a really nice feature is better printer management. And also, I know a lot of users spend a lot of time working with smart lists and been able to look at their data in Smartness, and they've made significant changes in Smartness usability. So it's going to have a look how that works inside the product, and then we'll move on. So we'll go across to Dynamics, and we'll look at my home page. So on the face of it, I guess not a lot has changed on the home page. The difference being is that these tiles can be moved on the home page, and in previous versions prior to 2013, those tiles were fixed in areas of the system. You could switch them off, switch them on, but they were fixed. In terms of the web client that brought out this functionality, you've been able to move them around. The home page actually, it's not a good example of seeing how these tiles work. So let's go and have a look at something like my sales page. So I can stack up my tiles on the right-hand side of the screen here and have a tile which with my main functions on it being transactions. If I then want to go to inquiries, I can just drag the inquiry across, and I've got that on the main tab. I can also set the pages to look with all the tabs fully expanded, and like I showed before, I can move those around. So my setup goes to the bottom, my transactions and inquiries are where I need them here on the left-hand side. If things like setup, utilities, routines are not needed, I can just minimize those, and I might even just minimize my reports as well and put my inquiries and cards on the top level. So you can tailor your desktop as you need it. I personally normally work having it like this and then dragging the cards that I need across on there. I notice as I talk to customers that have used Dynamics for a long time, the old way of working with Dynamics was always go to transactions, sales transaction entry, for example. So you had 3 clicks to get pretty much anywhere. If you're on sales transaction entry and you want to go to inquiries, then you need to go to inquiry, sales, transactions by data and see those. Well, having that all on one page makes it a lot easier. I can just be on that page and click on sales transaction entry and open that window, and inquiries, transactions by data, and open that window. An easier way of navigating around. I talked about the printer, and previous to 2013, if I went to print this window, selected printer, it would take the printer set up inside my defaults, and if it wasn't the printer I wanted to print it to, I'd have to go back to the beginning and stop printing again. What happens now in GP2013 is I press the OK button, it opens the Windows print dialog, and I can select the printer that I require to send my print to, and that happens all the way through the product. Okay, whilst we're on the data maintenance window here, let's just spend a little bit of time looking at what the window looks like now with a ribbon bar at the top, which brings it in line with other Microsoft products such as Word and Excel. So the menu bar takes, the ribbon bar takes all the actions that used to be on the header bar of the Windows, plus it also adds other areas into there. So we have the file clear delete button. We've got your print button that used to be across on the right-hand side. We also have the tools, customize, integrate, macro, and resource descriptions that are on every window, a help option, and a note option where we can add the window notes. The ability to go into the system also means that we've got now a right-click So you'll notice that on the top bar we haven't got the edit option. That's because it's under right click on every field now. That's important because if you're on so sales order, it's right click to delete a row, which is more intuitive than going to the top here, finding edit, delete row. But a change to those of you that have been using Dynamics for a long time. Okay, the other major advancement in usability is under Smart Lists. So if we're going to have a look at Smart List, you'll see that it looks slightly different. And one of the main differences is that this area of real estate that takes up half of the screen on some of the older versions of Dynamics, we can now right-click and decrease the width of that. So I can bring it in to take up as much real estate as you want. Plus also we've got the ability using that little arrow box to hide that page as plain completely. So if I use something like for my extended financials journal that takes up a lot of, that has a number of columns showing me the transaction, who the originating customer was, etc. I can now see more of that on the screen than I was able to in previous versions. Moving on, while we're talking about Smart Lists, Dynamics GP2013 provides a Smart List Designer, and that was included free as part of GP2013. It came out actually in the first version, and they've added additional features onto it now so that you can do go-tos and things like that. So I'll just very briefly just go through what Smart List Designer is. And on the slide there it says it's different to Smart List Builder. Smart List Builder is a separate module in the Additions pack where Smart List Designer is free with GP. Smart List Designer is a less functional version of Smart List Builder. It's I guess a good way of describing it. But if we go back to Dynamics, I can show you what Smart List Designer is able to do. So you'll notice a new button at the top left-hand corner here, which is new. So if I click on the new button, this will enable me to create my own Smart List if I want to. So it'll ask me to provide a list name. If I want a new Smart List to have a look at my contracts on the system, you'll notice that in the standard, I haven't got a contract view, so I can create a contract list, and I can go into click on the Dynamics and look at the Dynamics tables, and I could go in and select in an individual table. But what I could also do is I can scroll down to the bottom here, and I can look at SQL views within Dynamics. Just wait for that to open, because there's a number of them. And within those views, I can select a view which I've created called Contracts. I can specify the names of the headers of the fields, and here as well select which ones I want to see and which ones I don't want to see in my Smart List. So if I save that under my company series, okay, I now have a contract Smart List. So it's as easy as that to create your own Smart List for something you don't have. Just going to stop that and just show you that within the Nolan's products, we can also provide views within the database so that you can start getting data out of even our third-party products that aren't within within Dynamics GP. There might be external products but interact with data in GP. So if we look at, if we just scroll down here, you'll see that I've got e-request approval history view, e-request need approval view, and e-request request by purchase order view. I can now create, as a user or as a system administrator, views that relate to e-request quite easily and happily inside Dynamics. And this applies to all these views that are here, as well as being able to see or create yourself smart lists relating to all the different modules of Dynamics. So a very powerful tool which should enhance your ability to get data out of the system even more than what you've got now. Okay, so back to my PowerPoint. We can create new smart lists. We can obviously copy smart lists and amend them. We can modify them. And the new feature that's come out in 2013 R2 is that the Smartness Designer has been enhanced to give you go-tos. So as you create your smart list and Smartness Designer, you can specify when you double-click on a row where the system should take you to and what data you can see. Financial enhancements in the product. There's a number, and I've just selected 4. The reverse financial years and the paste in journals from Excel are new features within GP2013 R2. So those of you that have ever run a financial year close and then regretted that and wish you hadn't, Dynamics now gives us the ability to reverse financial years. In other words, put a historical year back into an open state for you to be able to process them there. Sales ledger multi-currency apply. Again, in previous versions of GP, if you were doing multi-currency applies, you were unable to apply multi-currency payment to an invoice unless it had been previously posted. That's now available. You don't need to post the transaction beforehand. Range selection on void payables documents. It was always a bugbear of mine that I had to scroll down a big long list of payables documents if I wanted to avoid one. It was quite difficult to find. The window's now been enhanced to enable me to go and find that document easily to avoid it. And the last one, which would be interesting to people, I guess, is that you're able, within the journal entry inside Dynamics, to paste in data from Excel. Just have a quick look at those features. So if I go into the financials, and I go to my year-end closing window, we now have this reverse historic year button. I'm currently in year 2014. 2013 has been sent across to history. So if I click on reverse historic year, I can reopen 2013. Obviously, this window is normally tightly controlled as to who can use it. So it's even more so now, I guess. The void transactions within payables, if I go and have a look at the void window, you can see I can still get a list of transactions, and I can go and select a particular supplier to just get a reduced view. And if that supplier's got lots of transactions, I can also restrict it by date or by document number as well to the list. Find it easy, tick the box, void. So that's going to be a huge time saver for those of you that work in the purchase ledger department and need to do voids on a regular basis. Finally, just on the financial transactions window here, this is the new paste button. So within a transaction now, or inside the general ledger, you can paste in journals directly from a spreadsheet. So documents attach is an area of Dynamics where we've always had the ability to keep notes against any particular document, which has been a great feature. But the documents attach was through an OLE container, which was a little bit cumbersome. So Dynamics have now, or Microsoft have now put into Dynamics a document attach feature where you can attach documents to debtors, to creditors, to purchase orders, to invoices, and you can tell the system to send that attachment at the same time as you send the invoice in the email. In GP2013 R2, they're providing the feature where you can scan those documents directly to documents attached from a scanner and moving the OLE notes to documents attached. So we'll quickly go and have a look how that works. Inside Dynamics, that's my sparkler. So if I go across to sales and I go and have a look at one of my customers, we'll pick Aaron Fritz because he's the first. There's an attach icon on the menu bar here. If I click on that icon, I'm able to attach documents related to Aaron Fitz. So it's what I've done here is I've set up a PDF that's set up inside the system that's also allowed to link across to the transactions that I've put on for Aaron Fitz. To attach a new document, I just need to press the attach button here, select a spreadsheet, open, and the spreadsheet is now attached to Aaron Fitz's card. Okay, so you can also tell the system that that document flows to the transactions or does not flow. So I'm going to set that spreadsheet to say do not flow, and you can add attributes inside the documents if you want to. So if I click OK on that, and we'll go across now, we'll put a sales invoice on for Aaron Fitz. Okay, so there's a sales invoice. You'll see the sales invoice has also got an attach button, and if I click on that, it's brought across that Business Analyzer PDF that I had held against that customer, Aaron Fitz. We've also got attachments against the items. So the same applies to items. If you have a particular product sheet or something that you need to send out with the invoice or with the order, you can attach that product sheet to the item and tell that to automatically go across onto the invoice. The same works within the purchasing side of the system as well. So that's the document attach. As I mentioned at the beginning of the session, we'll just talk briefly about the roadmap. So GP2013 came out in 2012, and the web clients and additional functionality were the big wins in that product. SP1 brought across some wave releases. Wave releases is Microsoft's terminology for bringing on modules into the web clients. So they introduced project accounting, contract billing, etc. into the web client in those releases and added in more functionality as they went along. And with SP2, they brought out GP app for Office 365. GP2013 R2, they brought out more functionality, and they've also introduced some workflow into the system. At the moment in GP2013 R2, the workflow is fairly limited, but it's the start of introducing that in total to the whole system, whereby you can do approvals and email documents around based on the workflow. Going forward, they will be dropping the business portal part of Dynamics, and they're going to be replacing business portal by what they're calling companion apps. So the areas of Dynamics that used to be served by the business portal will now be superseded by companion apps. GP2013 will be out in H2 2014. So H2 is Microsoft speak for their second half year, and as their year end started on the 1st of July, it actually means within the first part of GP 2015. If you're not confused by now, I don't know, actually it won't be. And going forward, they've committed to add in further functionality and technology releases every 6 months into the product as they're going through. Just to give you an idea of what the companion apps look like, they've provided a financial dashboard that enables you to seamlessly click through Dynamics GP for rich data, and coming soon is the 365 app, simplified setup so you can actually see your data within their 365. So those are the types of things Microsoft's working on as separate apps feeding from data or feeding to data inside Dynamics GP. Okay, so I've overrun by a few minutes, so sorry about that, but I hope that's given you a quick view of what is available within Dynamics GP 2013 and the direction that Microsoft is taking with the product and bringing it along with the way that the rest of Microsoft stable is going. Just finally then, before I sign out, I mentioned that there's a lot more features inside the product that obviously we won't be able to cover within a short time frame. So just on the screen now, brought up enhancements within the system, foundation enhancements, financial enhancements. You might just want to cast your eye down areas here and see if there's anything that you feel might be useful. And like I said, if you want to contact us to look at any of these in a bit more detail, please let us know. We'll just move down to a few more financials and inventory distribution enhancements. Okay, so thanks for your time this afternoon. I hope it's been useful to you, and please get back to us if you have any further questions. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.